Feeling burnt out? Well, you're certainly not alone. Dr. Gregory Hammer joins us now to help explain a bit more about burnout and what we can do to help. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Happy to chat with you as well. Hey, we passed that 1 year mark of the pandemic, and I think this is getting to a lot of people at this point, the feeling of burnout. But before we dive deeper into the subject, I think we need to talk about what constitutes a burnout.
Absolutely. Burnout is a condition related to chronic stress, something I think we can all agree that we are experiencing these days to a varying degree. And chronic stress causes emotional and physical exhaustion. Mm-hmm. And there are a variety of hormonal and other physiologic responses to chronic stress that are adverse. So while acute stress may actually help get us moving and pull a child out of a swimming pool, when that lasts for days to weeks or months and even years, there are a lot of adverse or deleterious effects on our bodies and our emotions.
And like you said, so many of us are experiencing that burnout right now. You think of the teachers too, or who have had to make this adjustment. A group like them, burnout can really trickle down and have an effect on others. Could you explain a bit more about how one person's burnout could impact others?
Sure. Well, first of all, I think teachers are in a special category. We need them. We generally adore them. We entrust our children with them.
Right.
And they're in a difficult situation because kids have been in and out of school, mostly out, but now back in, but possibly only part-time. Yeah. And if teachers have their own children in particular, you can imagine how challenging it would be to go into school for a half day, 3 days a week, for example, or whatever the schedule may be. And then what do you do with your own children if they're not in school or if they're in school on a different schedule? And so lots of stressors for teachers, not even to mention perhaps contracting COVID from a child or what have you. But they are certainly in a special category.
And those students can kind of feed off that energy, whether it's positive or negative. So I'm sure then if a teacher's feeling burnt out or stressed out, it can lead to maybe some of the students feeling the same way.
Oh, absolutely. Just as though they were the parents of the child, or as we see with how children respond to their own parents. The parents are stressed. The kids know that there's something wrong, and that presents a stress to them, on top of the stress that they're already feeling, related to, for example, lack of social interactions with their peers, trying to learn online, which for many kids is just extremely challenging, depending on their age and their personality.
So how do we find that work-family balance, even for those out there who aren't teachers, but they just feel like they're experiencing this stress and trying to do it all?
Well, easier said than done, but I can tell you a few things that I think are particularly helpful.
Okay.
One is to recognize the importance of what I consider the three elements of the tripod that supports our spiritual and physical well-being, and they are sleep, exercise, and nutrition. So really with intention, that is on purpose, have a schedule, have a go to bed time, have a wake up time, even if it's ambiguous when you really need to wake up in the morning for work or for what have you. So focus on sleep with good sleep hygiene. There are lots of books and online materials about that, but avoiding alcohol and caffeine. People don't realize that caffeine actually has a very long half-life of up to 8 hours. That means you have a cup of coffee in the early afternoon, half of it is still there, or maybe a third of it is still there when you want to go to sleep at night. So, don't bring your computer to your bed. Don't watch a screen in general when you're in bed. So focus on good sleep hygiene. Exercise a little bit every day, even if it's just walking around the block. And then also focus on good nutrition. So that includes, for example, having a regular meal time and family time. So stick to schedules, focus on your sleep, get daily exercise, focus on good nutrition. Unfortunately, those things are all interrelated. So when we're stressed, we don't sleep well. And when we're fatigued from not sleeping well, in addition to what the stress does to us unrelated to sleep, then we tend to be kind of low energy and more prone to picking up sugary or processed or so-called comfort foods, which are not healthy.
Right.
and we're too tired and feeling lazy, so we don't exercise. So
Yeah.
I think, first of all, those three things, the sleep, exercise, and nutrition, would be the mainstay of dealing with this chronic stressful situation.
It is a vicious cycle. Like you said, when one part of that tripod goes down, the others start to fall with it, like you said. But Dr. Hammer, you've provided us some great information today. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Anytime.